Our next speaker, we're very excited to have with us Lisa Copeland. Lisa is a dedicated pioneer in the field of automotive sales and brand strategy with over 25 years of proven success. Named among the top 100 women in automotive in 2015 by Automotive News, Copeland has dedicated her career to revolutionizing the automotive industry. As a dealer in 2013 and 2015, Copeland at Fiat of Austin earned recognition as the 6th best workplace in North America by Automotive News. And I've worked with stores that have earned that designation, and it is quite difficult to come by. In 2015, Copeland and Fiat of Austin earned FCA's highest honor, the Walter P. Chrysler Award for Sales and Service Excellence. She's been featured in prominent publications such as the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Marie Claire, and Automotive News. In 2016, Copeland sold her award-winning dealership to pursue her passion for leading a team that is committed to transforming businesses and building world-class organizations. Recently, Copeland was named to the board of directors of Women in Automotive and will serve as their media spokesperson. Copeland brings her message of overcoming fear and rising above mediocrity in her newly released book, Crushing Mediocrity. A quick search online turned up the following. Lisa has incredible hair and even greater eyelashes when you get up close. She is on Team Girl, in case you were confused. Her secret to her beauty and her stamina, she sleeps in a cryo tank every night. I think that's amazing. She takes that on the road with her. And then last but not least, she's a bit of an introvert. So, please welcome her with all your might. She tells me that she's blessed to have an incredibly clear conscience, and she credits that to having a very bad memory. Please welcome to the stage and give a warm Innovative Dealer Summit welcome to Lisa Copeland.
Goodness.
Thank you.
So now that my cryo is, I've been outed, I'm 105 years old. It works. We should all get in the cryo business. Well, first of all, I want to thank Andrew. You did a great job, and I've said for years, and that's why we're going to talk about this. We're not in the car business, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the people business. And so the day that we realize that we're in the people business, whether it's our consumers or our employees, that's the day that our business goes to the next level. And as a little tiny Fiat dealer in Austin, Texas, my young millennial team broke the world sales record. And none of them had any type of automotive experience, but what they had is they had a heart. They had a heart for a brand, and they had a heart for people. So I'm going to leave it at that. I kind of went off track because you inspired me, so thank you very much. But what we're going to talk about today is outwitting the devil. Anybody in this room remember or know who Napoleon Hill is? Just a couple. Well, I'm about to give you a little bit of an education on Napoleon Hill. So one of my business partners, Sharon Lecter, she wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Outwitting the Devil, 3 Feet from Gold, Think and Grow Rich for Women. Well, she was brought in by the Napoleon Hill Foundation to bring Outwitting the Devil out of the vault after 75 years. But why I'm so passionate about it is because what I believe to my very soul. There is one problem in any business, any vertical, and I've got clients now in every vertical possible. But the one thing that holds people back, whether it's the leader, the employee, or the consumer, is fear. So, we have to decide as an organization, you have to decide as the boss, as the employee, as the OEM, whatever it is, how are we going to combat fear? Because you see, fear is the root problem of everything in life. We're afraid to move forward, we're afraid to hold back, we're afraid to succeed, we're afraid not to move forward, we're afraid to move forward, we're afraid of the money. Do we all agree with that? Aren't there things fundamentally that keep us up at night? Now, in a room full of men, typically, I speak to a lot of women's groups, I ask them, what are you afraid of? And they tell me, and I typically have a word cloud. In a group full of men, I say, what keeps you up at night? Because there's something that keeps you up at night. And what is it? So, indecision is a decision. Do we all agree with that? When we can't decide if we're going to go right, if we're going to go left, what we're going to do, you've still made a decision. It's to be indecisive. And that's when you tend to live in the middle. And that's never a place you want to be, especially in the automotive industry. So, a little bit about Napoleon Hill. So that's Napoleon Hill. So he was the author of Think and Grow Rich. And that came out in about 1937, and it was a culmination of 25 years of thought leaders. People like Henry Ford, Andrew Carnegie, you name it. He brought together all of their teachings, and he wrote Think and Grow Rich. To this day, it's probably one of the most famous personal development books in the world. But he was so annoyed by the fact that people know what to do fundamentally. Does everybody in this room agree with that? How many people in this room have employees? Yeah, all of you. And do we fundamentally believe that they know what to do every single day? Don't they? They know what to do, right? It's whether they choose to do it or not. That's it. Life's a choice. Business is a choice. And so where Hill got so annoyed with the fact is that he says in Outwitting the Devil that people know what to do. They choose not to do it. That's why they're not more successful. So in that, right after he wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wrote this book called Outwitting the Devil. Now it's a very controversial, disruptive book. And so at the time in 1938, his wife worked for the church. And she said, no way are you going to put this book out, because the church will fire me. And so the book stayed in the vault for 75 years. Napoleon Hill dies, his wife dies, the sister gets the manuscript, and she turns it over to the Napoleon Hill Foundation, where my friend and business partner Sharon Lecter brought it back. Outwitting the Devil, the secret to freedom and success. Napoleon Hill says, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, your mind can achieve. So, one of Napoleon Hill's most famous things is you have nothing to fear but fear itself. And I just want to remind everybody in this audience, fear, 9 times out of 10, is false evidence appearing real. How many times are we afraid of something that doesn't even exist? And forget all of us in this room. How about our employees? How about our families? How about people that look to us to lead? Do we agree with that? Were all you guys at that party last night? I went home, I went to bed. I was super tired. So I want to talk about the only algebra problem you'll ever need in life. So I don't know about you, I've never used algebra once I left high school, and I used to call my algebra class, it was the thing that brought my GPA down. Right? I just barely got out. But this is an equation that if you follow it, it'll change your life. If this is no other math problem that I go through with you, you'll ever use again. If you follow this one, it'll change your life. This is what Hill says is your personal success equation. You've got to take your passion. You've got to do what you love and love what you do every single day. You've got to combine it with talent, right? You can love something a lot, but if you don't have the talent to get it done, you're probably not doing the right thing. And then you have to combine that with association. And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Your associations are so important. Are you working for the right company? Do you have the right employees? Do you have the right people on your team? Do you have the right people in your leadership? See, because associations are everything for your organization to be successful. And then, all of my friends in the car business, you've got to take action. Because you can have everything in the world. You can have talent and passion and association. But if you've got people or a team that does not know how to execute or does not execute on a daily basis, you're nowhere. Do we agree? Our business, the automotive industry that I love so much, it's all about action. It's all about being the first one to market, getting your ads done first, having the best price on the radio. You've got to execute every single day. But that's where a lot of organizations fail. And then, of course, you have to have faith. You've got to have faith in a higher power. You've got to have faith in yourself. You've got to have faith in your team. You've got to have faith in your organization. You've got to have faith in the person that signs your paycheck. You see, so what I will guarantee you is if you follow this, your passion plus your talent with association, and you take action and you have faith, that is the absolute equation for personal success. But let's talk about what gets in the way of people taking action, or what gets in the way of people actually fulfilling their personal success equation. Lack of clarity, because we don't know where we're going. How do you get anywhere if you don't know where you're going? Because so many great companies, they don't know which way they're going. They just play it by ear. It's lack of motivation. What is it that gets your employees or you up in the morning? Lack of passion. See, if you do what you love and you love what you do every single day, it's not a job. It's what we do. To me, the automotive industry was never a job. I loved it to my very soul because I knew that my team was keeping America moving forward. I knew that we paid taxes in our city. I knew that I had a bunch of millennials that maybe couldn't even get a job anywhere else, and they were making six figures. I knew that I was keeping people on an assembly line employed. And I knew everything about the automotive industry is great, and I've always been so proud to be a part of it. Wrong associations get in our way. I don't think I need to say any more. We all know. But most importantly, and the road we will go down in just a second, what gets in our way of success is fear. Hill says most difficulties in which people find themselves are of their own making. Do we agree? Most of the time when we have a problem or somebody we know has a problem, it's their fault. And sometimes people just don't know how to get out of their own ways. So, says the devil. So this book, Outwitting the Devil, and again, I'm not up to sell a book, but my dear friend Sharon, but he talks about, this book is about a conversation between Napoleon Hill and the devil. And you don't know until the end of the book if he was really talking to the devil, because by the time you get halfway through it, because of the things that are predicted in this book from 1938 that are true today, 75 years later after Sharon Lecter brought it out of the vault, all the teachings and all of the predictions Hill made in 1938 came true. So, was Hill really just writing, or was he having a conversation with the devil? But one of the cleverest tricks for mind control is fear. Fear, the fear of poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. You see, if we can learn to repurpose our fear, there's nothing in life that we can't do. You want to talk about scary? Be a Fiat dealer who just built an $8 million building and everything you own went on stop sale. Okay, so you can either have a fear of failure or you can have a fear of success. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, people have a fear of success. Why? Because now there's going to be a lot more responsibility. Now, what if I don't hit the numbers? It's not the boss's fault anymore, it's my fault. What am I going to have to do now that I'm the boss? I'm going to have to work more hours, I'm going to have to put more into it, I'm going to have to manage more people. So don't kid yourself when you have got somebody, or even yourself, that it's just as scary sometimes to be successful as it is to fail. So, don't we know this scene? We're sitting there and we've got that little angel, and that angel talks in our ear all the time and tells us that we're great and we're doing a good job, or talking to me right now going, okay, you're on stage and all eyeballs are on you. But then there's the devil, and the devil's talking to you in your other ear. And the devil is the one that absolutely fills your head full of the mind trash, okay? And that's where we try to, and then I've believed so much in these principles, is that you cannot let fear, which is what the devil's going to put into your head, control you. You have to learn to repurpose it. And it comes in things like this. You hear, you're not worthy. You can't have that promotion. You can't sell that car. You can't buy that dealership. You can't do whatever because you're not worthy. It's negative self-talk. Or you start telling yourself, well, I'm not an expert. Well, I will tell you what I've told people for years. People say, why do you think you're an expert in the automotive industry? You know what I say? Because I said I am. That's it. Unless you're a doctor or a lawyer and you need to have that up on the wall, you're an expert if you say you are and you have a passion for your business and you're moving forward every day and you're learning. You are an expert because you said you are. Another thing we hear in our head, the self-talk, that you're not good enough. You're not good enough for that promotion. You're a woman in the automotive industry. You know, you're not going to be able to go be a dealer principal. I started out as a car salesman. I left as a dealer principal. I was not the wife or the daughter. Okay, I would never let anybody tell me I wasn't good enough. So, what gets in our way? The lack of clarity, motivation, passion, and wrong associations. So, how do we take action from fear? So how do we move from fear to faith? And I'm going to tell you. These are Hill's 7 steps to outwit fear, to become an unapologetic automotive rock star. That nothing will hold you down or hold you back. If you're sitting in this audience today and you want to have your name on the sign someday, you will. Because the only thing that will hold you back is you. If you're sitting in this audience and your name's already on the sign, but you want to have a few more signs out there, you will. So number one, definiteness of purpose. Why do you get up in the morning? Remember, these are the 7 traits that once you master these, and including your personal success equation, you're unstoppable. You have to know why you do what you do every morning. You see, I did not get up in the morning to be a car dealer. I got up in the morning to revolutionize the auto industry. And I was committed to it. I hired women and millennials and minorities. And that's what I believed needed to be the new face of the auto industry. And we happened to sell a few cars along the way, and we had a little bit of success doing it. But my purpose was to revolutionize it and to put a new face on automotive. So you look at these people, they have purpose. They know why they get up in the morning. Can you tell by looking at them? Number 2, and this is so important, you've got to have mastery over self. That means we have to be in control of our emotions and our actions. We cannot let other people or outside influences mandate what we do and how we do it. You've got to be in total control of who you are, what your brand is, and what you stand for. You see, because I say, it isn't what you sell, because I was a Fiat dealer, so I had to say that. It isn't what you sell, it's what you stand for. And what we stood for was revolutionizing the auto industry. And because of that, people followed us, and they bought cars, and they rooted for us. You have to learn from adversity. Hey, we all screw up. Everybody in this room's done it. So you have 2 choices when that happens. You either go hide, or you go and you do not let it define you. You have to learn how to recover from adversity and learn from it and not make the same mistake twice. So Hill says every adversity, every failure, and every heartache carries with it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Think about how many times we failed, how many times things have happened, and we've learned from them and come back from the ashes, and we're bigger and we're better for it. I know it's happened to me personally. Number 4, Hill says you've got to control your environment. So imagine this, and the way that I try to get you guys to understand this, if you close your eyes and you think about being at a 3-year-old's funeral, I mean, you could just feel what that feels like to walk into it. But if you close your eyes and you imagine you're walking into a Prince concert on New Year's Eve, and how the energy comes up from there. You see, because we have a choice in life on what kind of environments. I'm not saying we don't step into funerals when we need to, but I'm trying to give you an extreme example. You've got to control your environment. You've got to stay out of the negative. You've got to stay out of the junk. You've got to stay away from the negative people and the naysayers. Because if I would have listened to those people in 2011 when they said, you're crazy to bring this brand back to America, I wouldn't be standing here today, and I wouldn't have had the great life lessons over the last 7 years. So it's only up to you to control your environment, and if you do that, you have mastered one of the 7 principles. So what is your environment? Is it negative or is it positive? Who's on your team? Do you have people on your team that need to go because they produce a negative environment? You might. And are they cheering you on? And I'll tell you, this is a big one. I just wrote a book recently, and I talk about rooting for people. See, not only do I think that I need to root for my employees, but my employees need to root for me, because that's the kind of leader I need to be. But also, our employees need to root for the boss. They need to root for each other, and they need to root for the person with the name on the sign. And I was speaking 2 weeks ago. I was out of the country, and I was back in the green room with somebody from another country. I'll just leave it there. And they just start laying into me about Trump. Now, I'm not going to go down a political road here today. I'm using this example to say, I looked at him, and I mean this. No matter who would have won the White House, I would have said the same thing. Mr. Jerk, who will not leave me alone, who's not an American, I want to let you know something. For me not to root for my president means I'm not rooting for my country. And as an American, I will always root for my country. So it doesn't matter who's sitting in that White House, whether I voted for them or not. It is my job as an American to root for my president, because otherwise we're rooting against our country. and the success of the United States of America. So taking that same premise, we have got to instill that within our organizations and in our dealerships. And we work in such a high pressure, such a competitive environment that people don't want to root for each other. They almost see it as a sign of weakness. So the great ones and the great leaders, what you will be able to do is be able to bring that team together where they authentically root for each other. Because when that happens, Andrew, we reduce turnover. We make the culture better, and with less turnover and a strong culture, guess what we do? We sell more cars. That's what we do. We sell more cars. So all of those things, or look in the mirror, is your environment holding you or your organization back? And are there some people that need to be cut from the environment? So fear and worry. To worry is to pray for what you don't want. All right? So pray for what you do want, not for what you don't want to happen. And just remember this, that people don't fail. I really believe that. Our people don't fail us. They just get wrapped up in fear and in worry and in self-doubt, and then they just quit trying. That's what it is. But as great leaders, we can help them repurpose fear, and then they will continue every single day to do the best they can. And when they keep trying, your organization moves forward. Number 5, you've got to control your time. So make your stop doing list. Figure out the things you can take off your list, because time is the only thing, ladies and gentlemen, that we can never take back. We can make more money. We can have more friends. We can do all kinds of things. But the 30 minutes that you and I spend together, we're never going to get that time back. We're all 30 minutes older by the time this is over, and we're never going to get it back. But, try cryo. Who knows? Number 6 is, if you are purpose-driven, you have mastery over yourself, you can learn from adversity, you control your environment, you control your time, that's how you find harmony in your life. And that helps, and the harmony is that when you help other people be better people, when you're walking in your purpose every single day, see, all of a sudden a lot of that junk goes away. The fear goes away, the competitiveness goes away, because you know that your purpose in life is not only to take your organization forward, but it is to take the people in your organization forward. And then number 7, you want to act with caution, and this is the last one, because you see, how many times do we write that email and we're just blasting somebody in that email? And you have to ask yourself, does that email further my purpose as a leader or as an organization? And does it further the purpose or help the person that I'm writing it to? Does it further them? If it doesn't, I would hit delete. So be very careful when you hit send. And I kind of use the example of tweets. We know some people out there that their tweets don't really help what's going on in the universe. So proceed with life in caution, because that is the only way to truly move your purpose forward and your organization forward. So, in conclusion, the 7 things that Hill says that we need to live a fearless life is purpose, mastery over self, learn from your adversity, control your environment, you control your time, live in harmony, but proceed in caution with life. Think about what we do before we hit tweet or a send button on an email. So, I'm wrapping up, I'm done. My gift to you is if you want to text to 444-999, get your phones out, and text "crushing it" into that, you will get a copy of my free online Crushing Fear course. It's a 6-module course that I did, and it really just takes this lesson further, and it's my gift to you for being such a fantastic audience. Just know that I am personally rooting for you. I love Denver, I love Colorado, and I very much appreciate you all having me here today. Thank you.
Fantastic job. Give it up for Lisa Copeland. And she did that talk, and this was all the notes she had. Pretty darn impressive.